Hi, this is Morley, and this is the M-Wire. So I've got another update for you out of New Hampshire, folks, and it definitely pertains directly to the same type of update I gave yesterday, only there's a different facet of it. It has to do with technology, and it's proving just to be another tool that basically muddies the water. So now we're looking at several local communities with bizarre date and timestamps. So as I reported yesterday, there was a problem with the folds in the Bs, and they weren't going through the machines properly. They would always favor the other candidate just because of where the fold was. I'm not going to go over that in detail. If you want to watch the video on that, basically just watch my New Hampshire update from yesterday. But today what we have is we've seen that there's bizarre date and timestamps on the machine tapes themselves. Two towns, Londonderry and Amherst, set one of their machines to 0 and counted Bs on October 17th and October 23rd, respectively. 17 and 11 days before the E. Yes, an incorrectly set time clock could account for this, but why is this an issue out of 2 of the 4 towns we have checked? Also, on several other Londonderry machines, they set the machine to 0 at around 11 p.m., 4 hours after the polls closed, when all the Bs should have already been entered into the machines. Then ran final tally tapes 3 hours later. Where were the observers from each party in the room when this was done? How many hours after the polls had closed? That is an extraordinarily good question. When all of this was occurring, were there observers from both parties in the room? That certainly is worth asking. This is also not the only machine problem we have discovered, as not all of the 4 Wyndham machines incorrectly read a crease through the candidate's oval as a V. In fact, the 4 Wyndham machines, one of that was purchased last and is therefore the newest, was the one that miscounted the V's the most. It was also discovered that this machine is out of the 4 has gone the longest without being calibrated. So the activities at the audit on Monday and Tuesday are designed to look at innards of these 4 machines to see if dust or electronic issues can be causing the difference between these machines. Although the cause of the V discrepancy does not appear to be due to VF, that does not absolve the Secretary of State for his lack of curiosity in explaining this abnormality, when he dismissed the discrepancy, stating it didn't change the outcome of the E. It also does not excuse the Attorney General for refusing to look into this issue either. Both of these Senate officials should be ashamed for their lack of track record in this matter, only investigating when forced to do so by the New Hampshire legislature. Yes, I absolutely agree with this. Why are they so apprehensive to do this? They're just completely apathetic towards this, and they just think, oh, well, there wasn't enough there to change anything, so the whole thing's a waste of time. Like, why should we even bother with this? And now look at the things that they're finding. Just pure apathy, you know what I mean, on the Attorney General's part. So what does New Hampshire do going forward? If we decide to continue with machine Ving, should we keep these dinosaurs of a V machine? Why is the newest Wyndham machine that had the most errors? We have been told by the analysts that is because they are so old that they are much harder to corrupt. If we keep them, do we stop folding absentee ballots and put them in the larger manila envelopes so that they can stay flat? Or do we continue with folding? Do we hand count folded absentee Bs instead? Well, it's blatantly obvious that we definitely need to be doing something different. What we're doing isn't working. What I'm about to read is the cautionary tale that I talked to you about at the beginning of the video, and I want you to weigh in on what's about to be said, folks. I want you to tell me what you think of this. My sense is that there is a growing dissatisfaction with machine counting of citizens' Vs as long as the decision to go to machine count versus hand count is made by each town. I suspect there will be a growing din from New Hampshire citizens to cast aside e-Ving and return to the trusted hand count method. It's only what England, Canada, and Australia do in their federal elections. Do they know something that we don't? Exactly. We are just so enamored by technology that not using some sort of technology to do this just seems archaic to us. But meanwhile, those countries that I just named, that's the only way they do it. Like, think of it from their perspective. They're looking at the US right now like, oh, okay, so there's still discrepancies from 6 months ago? Like, what is wrong with you people? Do away with MIBs. Make it mandatory to produce ID when you go in V in person and hand count afterwards. It seems to be working for them, folks. I mean, I'm all for giving it a try, you know what I mean? Because clearly what we have now isn't working, because look at where we are. But I want to know what you think. But I thank you so much for coming along for this update. Please remember to like, to comment, and to share. And lest we forget, subscribe. Thank you and God bless.